Is it recording? All right.
It is yours truly, Rick the Prince here, and you are watching Surface S4E4. The Prince here, truly, Rick the Prince here. What's good? What's good, guys? Yours truly, Rick the Prince. You are watching.
Oh, listen, darling, I know it's been a while, been forever for me too, but time was not lost, oh, not lost on us, oh no, it never could be anyone but you. I can't love, whoa.
It only makes sense.
Logistically, you can't have how long our songs are. 13 tracks wasn't going to fit on one album. Like, you would need a double. And that's way more expensive. And so logistically, we were talking to the production team that we work with, and they're like, you know, man, I just think that these 11 songs fit so well together, and you can get them on vinyl. I don't know if you want to worry about adding those other two songs. And the other reason, the final reason, is like it gives these songs. Like, I know Give Me Love and Could It Be might be two of our best songs we've ever put out. Mm-hmm. So if we put them on the album, people are going to be like, oh, I love the album, but I still love Could It Be. Yeah. Right. You would have said something like that. Yeah. You're like, oh, I love the record. Could It Be is still my jam, though. Mm-hmm. You don't get to say that because it's not on the record. You're forced to find a new favorite. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I like
that. That's why Dreams and Nightmares sticks out for you.
Yeah.
Because it's new. It's not Could It Be. You know, that might have overshadowed Dreams and Nightmares if Could It Be was on there.
I get that, yeah. And I think that's interesting when you talk about the process of like finding a track list.
Right.
What do you and Luke, do y'all have a hard?
We're re-rolling too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Absolutely.
That's really funny to put in the interview. Wait, we're rolling.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Right.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Right.
We have Atticus in the building. One half of the Corduroy Blue.
Shout out, Luke.
Shout out to the brother. Wish you were here.
Doing his thing.
Oh yeah, we can't really speak on it, but
he's doing his
thing. He's doing his thing. But we got you in the building. The debut project is out.
Right.
Initially, just how do you feel? It came out on 11/11.
Right.
I know that was done intentionally.
Yeah, it was.
Just how do you feel about it being out and the reception that we've got so far?
That's how I feel. I'm really happy that it's out. It was on 11/11, which is also National Corduroy Day. If you look it up, that is literally National Corduroy Day.
I did not know that.
11/11 is National Corduroy Day.
I know the Mayans. Some of the Mayans or something.
So right. Some Mayans, but we capitalized on it. Thank you, Mayans.
Thank you.
But I'm really happy that it's out. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I've never been a parent, so I'm not sure how this feels, but it feels like when a parent raises kids and then they go off and do their own thing, and then you kind of have to like emotionally let go of them a little bit to have a new relationship and move on and do your own thing. That is exactly how I feel about this record. Like, these songs have been songs we've been playing together as a band for almost 2.5 years, almost like religiously. I mean, we've only been playing these songs.
Right.
We played some of the singles as well, but there's a few songs on this record we haven't played out much that I'm excited to play, like Something in the Way, Passing Lane, and Big Money we don't play all the time, but we're gonna play it now. But other than that, like, we played all these songs religiously, and like having it out finally lets me let go of them, I think, and just, enjoy it, first of all. Play the songs out the way I want to play them, and then look at what it looks like to make new TCB music, which is crazy to me because, again, I've been playing these songs specifically for so long.
How did you know that it was time for the debut? How did you know that this was it?
That's a good question. I didn't plan on making a record. Like, this time last year, I hadn't planned on it. Like, I didn't know I was gonna. I knew we were like doing well, and like the singles were doing well. Like, this time last year, Could It Be came out. Shout out, that's his favorite.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna have a new favorite now because I gotta keep listening to the album.
Listen, right? Yeah. I really appreciate it, and I think that's there's so much I want to talk about.
My favorite right now, what is it called? Something in the Way.
Right.
That's my favorite song right now. The harmonies.
Yeah, right. And the vibe of it. The ooh, something in the way. Come on now.
those harmonies, but yeah, we're
getting ahead. I'm just enjoying it. We're enjoying it.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
But yes, we knew it was time because we were playing a show in February at Smithsonian Bar, one of our favorite spots, and
I do like that spot.
we do. Yeah. We love it. That's kind of our spot. We're playing a show there, and we played a lot of the stuff from this album that night, like more than usual, and people were singing along to every word of these unreleased tracks that are on this record, just because they've heard it and they love it. And I kind of looked at Luke, and we're playing Hitman's Request, and that's a song where me and Luke sing together, and it's just me and him on the mic together. And I kind of looked at him, and everybody's screaming, "I'll be better, much, much better." And I was like, all right, it's time.
That's it.
And so, we wasted no time. We played that gig. We wrote the last song that is featured on the album, "The Death of Me," that Luke sings. On the very like country rockabilly.
Yeah. You want to know something? When that song came on, I thought like a new album had come.
Right.
I had to run. I was like,
wait, what?
Is this the same album? I was like, oh, okay, this is different.
Right. And that song came about because, Luke obviously is a huge part of the band. And he has a great voice, and we talked about the Beatles a little bit off the camera, but they're my favorite band. They're my biggest influence, and I feel like that's definitely, you can hear that. But the Ringo Starr song on every album sort of provided the album with a little levity, a little like intermission. And "The Death of Me" is totally the intermission, to your point. You're like, it's so heavy, especially after Big Money Hero. It's a heavy song, it's about politics, it's about all these things. And then it's just like, and you just like, you can't help but like laugh and be like, what is this? And then it resumes, and it's like, that was the whole point of that. But so we made that track. That was the last one we wrote. We wrote that in February. We went in the studio in March.
Okay.
And we went to Real to Real Studios in Jonesboro, owned by Will Turpin and Steve Rawls. Shout out to them. Could not have done this without you guys.
Shout out to y'all.
Thank you guys. Really, I mean, they signed us to a really great deal and kind of a pseudo record label sort of thing. And just couldn't have done it without them.
Right.
But we started tracking in March, and we weren't done tracking and mixing until October 31st.
Oh, so like right before. Right before.
Most work I've ever done on anything. And because they gave us such a good deal, that's why it took a long time, because I spent a lot of time on each song.
Yeah.
I can definitely.
Because we weren't
on the clock. I could just enjoy it. Like the reggae section of Buy The Corduroy Blue, I was in there for like
that transition.
Right. I was in there for 6 hours doing that reggae, just the reggae part, just the guitar for the reggae part. It was like, shout out to Christopher Allen Yates, the main producer on the project.
Shout out.
He killed that.
Wow.
And so, I think that was my long answer to how we knew the album was being made and all of that.
I love getting the backstory on all those things, because I didn't even know that was you doing that reggae part of that song. That's so.
Yeah, it was me, and I mean Luke obviously on the drums, but I played. I think I played everything on the record except for the drums. Will Turpin played some strings. And all the guys helped me with the keys a lot, because I'm not a great keyboard player. I mean, I'm okay, but they help, fix it up.
Now, you and Luke, y'all are real life brothers, right?
Yeah, right. Real life.
Real life brothers. Where are y'all from? Y'all from here?
We're in Woodstock right now. We're at the Elm Street Cultural Arts Center and Coffee Shop.
Yes.
Thanks for letting us do this here.
Thank you so much. Now, you're born and raised in Woodstock?
I was born in New York. Luke and I were born in New York.
Okay.
And my parents are from there. We lived there for a few years, and then we moved to Woodstock, and I've been here ever since. I'm looking at what the next chapter for me looks like outside of Woodstock, but that's why I wanted to do this here, because this is where
I'm glad that we're close to home. Yeah. So I find it interesting that y'all are brothers, and y'all ended up coming together to form a
music
group.
right.
Like, when did music find you two at the same time, or were you like, hey Luke, let's start this band, or was it just?
Well, we both grew up in our family's very athletic.
Okay.
So it's a very athletic family, so we tried every sport possible. And
Okay.
throughout all that, my father was a huge influence on the music that we like. We just weren't allowed to listen to anything but the classics, and I'm thankful for that now. I mean, but a lot of kids complain about that when they're younger. Me and Luke loved it. Like, we were never complaining about that music.
Right.
You know, we were always like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah, especially because, like, I mean, part of like your kid years would be like, oh, I don't want to hear this.
Right? No, we loved it.
Yeah.
We were like, oh my god, where's more of this?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think my dad expected that. So he was like, oh, okay, I gotta find some more. Shout out, Dad. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you either.
Shout out.
He's the dadager, also the and mom as well. Thank you guys both for your support.
Yes.
But yeah, he just played a bunch of stuff in the car, and I remember hearing some AC/DC, and it's just the wailing of the guitar, and just that thrill of that. I was like, I want to learn to do that. And so I learned the guitar. I was always doing theater. I always did musical theater from a very young age.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that. I didn't know you did.
Right. So I enjoyed the stage from a very early age. I just loved it. From a very early age in general, I was just outgoing, like, I almost said exotic, extroverted maybe, but like just very out there all the time. And so theater was a great outlet. Started that in second grade. And then I learned guitar in elementary school, but I wasn't very good. And then I believe Luke started in middle school. I might be wrong. What,
learning guitar?
Learning drums.
Drums.
And we were both terrible. It was awesome. First song we ever learned was Yellow Submarine.
Yellow
by the
Submarine.
Beatles.
Yes.
And it was funny, it came full circle at our release show the other day. We played a little bit of it.
Wow.
Which was just cool to be like, the first song we ever played together.
Yeah.
And so we tried that, and then we both, I don't really remember how it was weird. It's very, I feel like it was meant to be because we didn't speak on, like I wasn't like, yo, you should get better at the drums so we can make a band.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, you should get better at the guitar so we can make a band. We both just like silently fell in love with the instrument and like away from each other, like separately, we'd just both work on it and both got good enough. And one of our best friends at the time, Auburn, who played bass for us in the beginning years.
Okay.
We all three just got together and we're like, hey, we played in church together first. So and that helped a lot because, playing in church, you gotta learn to work with people. You have to you have to wear clicks in your ears.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure you're playing to a beat. You gotta make sure you can follow directions. All of that was very vital for our early studio time.
I feel that artists, because I feel like church was such a important part of our childhood. Like, how old are you?
22.
22. Okay, so you're around my age.
Right.
Like, a lot of us grew up in the church.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of artists now, they don't necessarily have that foundation, so to speak.
Right. And it's like, I don't even know.
And nothing's, not saying anything's wrong.
No, sure. Yeah, right. I mean, I don't even know. At the end of the day, even people who, whether you're into that or not, if you grew up in it, there's definitely benefit, especially of playing music. Like, there's benefit of growing up in like learning how to play with people at an early age, where it's like you didn't need to sell tickets to be able to play. You could just be able to play. And as mixed emotions as I have about growing up in the church, I will say that was something I was very thankful for. Was having that ability to just get up and play. Rosie kind of was like, I don't really love band name Aqua Shade. I feel like you guys are outgrowing it. And at first I was defensive. I mean, imagine building something for 3 years and then people are telling you that they don't like it or whatever. But I remember I went on a walk on this trail we're on. Again, why I'm glad we're here. You keep going past this.
It's a trail?
It's a long trail.
Okay.
And there was some really cool graffiti on like a bridge down there. And I was looking at the graffiti and I thought it'd be really cool to have like the band name in that font. And it was so funny, but I couldn't see Aqua Shade in that font. I was like, it was bothering me really bad. So then I decided off of that, I was like, time to change the band name. Time to change it, time to rebrand, do the whole thing. And I looked at my brother like this, right in the eye. I was like, I know you're honest, but I also know you don't want to hurt me. I need you to be as honest as you've ever been with me right now. Do you think we need to change the band name? And he was like, yeah, I think so.
Wow, so he was already feeling it.
He was already feeling it. So then we said, all right. So we got down and, that was a really grueling time for me because, first of all, I was falling in love with all the music that you hear on this record, like the Beach Boys, the Beatles, the Velvet Underground, David Bowie, all my roots that I think I had forgotten about doing that other band. Like all the sort of poppy stuff.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about what the music I truly love, Elton John, Billy Joel, you know, all the 60s through 90s stuff Radiohead, all the stuff that I was just in love with, or re-falling in love with, or had just fallen in love with. I just realized that that's the stuff I wanted to be making. So I knew the sound was going to change. And because we were called Aquashade, I did want Blue to still be, you know, I wanted it to be, you know, because we're still those people, we're just grown up and evolved.
Yeah.
So I wanted there to be some sort of cohesiveness for fans who have been there already, like, okay, I see. Not that we needed to do that, I just wanted to do that.
No, yeah, I totally understand that.
And so Blue I knew was going to be in the name. We had a couple of names that didn't have Blue in it, but me and my dad and Luke always agreed that Blue was a cool thing to have. And the reason we liked that was like, I mean, think of Pink Floyd, for example. Like, but the thing about Pink Floyd is you don't think of pink unicorns when you think of Pink Floyd. That was just the name of the band. They did that really well, where it's like, they didn't...
Like Queen.
Right, exactly. But I'm even talking about the color pink.
Yeah.
Like they weren't branding with pink. Like that wasn't... Like they weren't like a Pink Floyd, it was just the name.
Yeah.
So that's how we feel about the Corduroy Blue. It's not blue. Like that's just the name of the band.
Right.
Like it just happens to also be a color.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're defining what that color means rather than letting the color define us, essentially.
I like that.
And then now we're missing the big part, corduroy. Like where did that come from? And we had gone through so many names. We had the and blue, and we had nothing else. So I was like, we gotta find this like missing piece, this big part, the velvet part of the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about velvet, thinking about fabric. I was thinking like, all right, new bit. Honestly, this whole process was very mentally draining because I just couldn't tell if I wanted to do it anymore. I didn't think it was worth it. I thought no one's gonna listen to us anymore. You know, we rebranded, nobody's gonna care. You know, maybe it was just a fun thing to do in high school and now it's over. But I knew I was a good writer and I knew that I loved to write music. So I just kind of decided like, why do I want to do this? And it was like, I kept feeling like I want to break through the fabric of a lot of the shallow stuff that's going on today in music and built upon the fabric of all those rock and roll heroes.
Yeah.
But that word fabric just kept running through my head. And I was like, I'm writing songs that nobody else is writing. I know that. You know, this record that you just heard, I don't think this is another record right now that sounds like that. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find it, I think.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's got mixtures of mainstream production and 60s melodies.
I'm about to say, yeah, because y'all do a great job of blending the 60s and the 70s and some of the 80s with like
today's
modern
production. Right. Yeah. Nobody, I think, is doing that. Because everybody right now that sounds like the old school stuff, they're trying to make it sound old.
Exactly like... I'm not gonna go into that. But I did have a critique about a project that it's good to be inspired from an era and then versus replicating the sound of an era.
Right.
It's like you should take that and then build from it. That's why I like you two, because you two do that very well.
Right. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love modern music production. I love all the tricks. And a lot of times we'll actually get, you know, certain people will be like, I wish it was more raw. I wish it was more like, maybe we'll do that someday. You know, I still don't want to do it contrived. I want to do it me. But right now, this record, I think, deserved real productional treatment.
Yeah.
And it sounds great that way. Like Queen would do that. It's also like, Queen and the Beatles only sounded like that because it was made 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Like if they were alive today all making music, it would probably sound extremely produced in a good way. And so anyways, the corduroy part, fabric was in my head, Velvet Underground, the velvet thing. So I just went in my closet and I felt every fabric that I had until I like felt that, you know, that thing. And I had a corduroy jacket in there and I like felt the fabric and I was like, how this feels is how I want the music to sound.
Wow.
Like, cause think about it, from the 60s till now, everybody loves corduroy. Corduroy's never gonna stop being worn. It's timeless, people love it. It goes with everything. And that's how I wanted our music to be, and I think we do that. Like, where it's extremely timeless, you can wear it with whatever outfit you want. Meaning our songs can fit any mood because there's so much there. There's so much variety on that record. You know, so anyways, that's how the name.
I like that. I like that. I like that. You really went in your closet and felt the fabric.
I literally did.
That's crazy.
I literally went all the way because I was just so frustrated with the process of finding a name. So frustrated. And then I was like, all right,
that's it. I gotta give y'all your hand claps for this record. I know you worked very hard.
Thank you.
And it pays off. I heard it. I like it. It's on the Record Store playlist. Y'all make sure y'all check that out.
Check it out. Check it out.
Yes.
This guy's always helping out with the new artists. So.
Of course, yes.
And if you guys are into vinyl, we're doing a pre-order on the vinyl right now because we're independent. We don't have the overhead to print it all right now.
Okay.
So we're using the pre-orders as a way to people can pre-order it. That helps us get the records made. Yeah. Then we get you your pre-orders, and then we have the rest for sale.
And we're gonna leave that link in the description so you all can go in and ahead and pre-order. But Atticus, if anyone wants to check out you and Luke, the Corduroy Blue, where can they do that? Where can they follow you? All that.
We should be the Corduroy Blue on everything except for Twitter. I got a little quirky and made it the Corduroy Boys. But everything else is the Corduroy Blue. We have a website. We have our Spotify has a shop on it. Make sure it's the Corduroy Blue. There's a lot of bands with all similar names, so just make sure it's the Corduroy Blue. And you'll see two hippie-looking fellas on the cover. Yes. And there you go.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much.
We finally did this. Yes, so happy. I'm yours truly, Rick the Prince. You just watched Beneath the Surface. Make sure you check out their music. For real. And yes, we'll see you all next time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was awesome.
So bye, love. I saw her in a dream. She's not who you're supposed to be.